Did you have a mistress?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
No good marriage ever ended because of cheating. I'll put it that way.
Deep.
No good marriage ever ended because of cheating. Now, bad marriages have, but no good marriage.
So most people probably know Gary Owen from being a comedian, but starting last year, he initiated a divorce against his soon-to-be ex-wife, Kenya Duke, and it got a little messy. She was throwing him under the bus as much as she could last year in the court of public opinion, and this is his first time speaking out. Now, I'm not going to play the whole interview, but there was a lot of things he said surrounding his divorce that I think could benefit men who are either going through divorce, went through divorce, or considering a divorce. So,
Did you have a mistress?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
No good marriage ever ended because of cheating. I'll put it that way.
deep.
No good marriage ever ended because of cheating. Now, bad marriages have, but no good marriage.
Now, that's debatable, but that's a great talking point, Gary.
He is coming out swinging. Right now, he's laying the foundation that, hey, his marriage was not good. And we've saw plenty of celebrity marriages survive infidelity. Some even resulted in a child. I'm not going to put them up there, but they're out there. His marriage wasn't good, and she alleged that he cheated, and he's saying, without saying, the cheating is not what killed his marriage.
Like, that could start a great conversation.
But also, like, I left. This whole narrative was like, she left me because I got caught cheating.
Correct.
I left. I filed first. I made the phone call saying I don't want to be divorced. I don't want to be married. So I want a divorce. So when everything came out, I just stayed quiet. But this whole narrative was, I got caught out there. She left me. That's not what happened.
Okay, I thought she filed for divorce.
No.
See, there it go. It's more truth bombs. Narrative is important. And the narrative she was trying to spin was that he was cheating on her and it led to the divorce. He has just confirmed that it wasn't the cheating, if that would really happen, but the fact that he left her and then the rumors came out. So what happens when people go through a divorce, typically the woman will try to control the narrative in the court of public opinion, get that ball rolling. Let's start trying to tarnish his image.
I filed first. Of
So
course,
why-
she filed after me.
Why
So
did
what-
you file? Like,
Yeah,
what wasn't working?
You can get into all kinds of reasons, but the end of the day is you're unhappy. And then you sit here and you stay in it for the kids and everything else. And then you're like, God, I'm miserable.
Never stay in it for the kids unless you suspect that the other person may hurt the kids if you're not there. But for the most part, staying for the kids is not the way to go because kids are smart. Kids can pick up on the fact that mom and dad are not getting along. Kids can see, hey, mom and dad no longer sleep in the same room. Dad's been going a while. Mom's been going a while. What's going on? So you never want to stay for the kids. Furthermore, like you said, he was miserable. Mentally, you're going through the ringer if you're in a marriage where you're not happy. And lastly, if you're the guy, you want to get out of the marriage as soon as possible because chances are you are the breadwinner. Let's not act like hypergamy doesn't exist. But the longer you stay, the more you will pay because she's building equity in whatever assets you have, provided you don't have a prenup.
So why should we believe you? She said you're a lying narcissist, Gary. Why should
Isn't
we
that
believe
the
you?
go-to, though? The narcissist part, as soon as the guy leaves, he's a narcissist. A narcissist would have made a comment.
You didn't deny
I
the
stayed
lying,
quiet.
though.
What do you mean?
You just said the narcissist. She called you a lying
narcissist goes with
narcissist.
lying. I mean, come on now. But that's always the go-to, the narcissist.
If we had a nickel, right, for every time a relationship or a marriage ended, that the woman alleged that the husband was a narcissist, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos trying to pay this spousal support and child support. You know what I'm saying? So I really wish women would stop the whole, he's a narcissist. If that's the case, right? Think about all the women who left the man. That means what percentage of men are narcissists? All of them? No one ever asks what the woman does. No one. Not once. It doesn't come up. She was perfect, right? Probably not.
The one that got me that you read it so much about you, like I was reading about myself, like, dang, this dude's wilding. I was like, wait, I'm reading about myself. Jesus.
The Debbie part?
The Debbie.
Yeah.
Because I was there.
Court of
I was
public
present.
opinion.
I liked being a dad. I mean, there wasn't a time, my kids never rode the bus. Like, if I'm home, I'm taking them to school, picking them up, and if not home, she's doing it. Going to practice, whether it was volleyball, basketball, going to games. I didn't miss nothing. I didn't miss a birthday. I remember we were at Think Like a Man 2, July 3rd, 2013, and we got off at like 5. I got on the plane so I could make sure I made my daughter's birthday, her 11th birthday, to make it back. I didn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I deserve kudos for that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're a dad.
Your dad.
Yeah, he is a dad. He's doing everything a dad's supposed to do. But at the same time, marriage goes south. Now she's calling him a deadbeat. What was he the last 17 years to his kids? Was he not a stand-up guy? Because the story we just heard seems like, he was an active father when at home. Now, sure, he's a comedian. He travels. You could make the point to say he's not home. But when he was there, it seems like he was very present in his kid's life.
Yeah, but I like being a dad. So now, to be called a deadbeat, one, you can't be a deadbeat to adults. Mm-hmm. I've said that before, but right now, like...
You can't be a deadbeat? Oh, because they're grown. Okay.
They're grown. Yeah. But
see, look at that, though, right? How many people knew that he had grown kids? Probably not many. Not many probably Googled it. All they did was probably take the fact that she said he was a deadbeat and ran with it. And for over a year, he said nothing.
It's also like, I haven't talked to him in like a year and a half. Or
your
seen
kids?
Them. Yeah.
You haven't?
Yeah.
They chose a side.
Are they mad at you? Or?
They're mad.
Gotcha.
Because I left their mom, though. I left their mom.
So for people to say, like, what happened? Most marriages, right, they don't work because of infidelity, money, abuse, mental abuse. So what was the reason why it didn't work? Why couldn't y'all hold it together? What was the reason? You said you weren't happy. Why weren't you happy?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, what's important to me is, like, not to throw her under the bus, because I want my kids and her to still have a good relationship and always have a good relationship. So it does me no good to, like, get into what she did, but,
That goes to show that his wife was not completely innocent in the demise of their marriage, which there's always three stories. You got his story, you got her story, you got what really happened. But he's saying it's not all him. She definitely did something. But what I really want to touch on is the fact that she's called him a cheater. She's called him a deadbeat, thrown him under the bus in the court of public opinion every chance she got. In him, right here, could have said whatever he wanted about her, but he didn't. Because one, he's not out to tarnish her image. Two, he wants to preserve the relationship that she has with the kids. And I'm in the same way. Yes, I've been thrown under the bus, but I would never say anything disparaging or negative publicly about my soon-to-be ex-wife. Now, are there some things I agree with that she's doing? No. Will I publicly, say that? No. I mean, it's not for me to say. It's for her to say if she ever wants to say it.
Do you feel that she's lashing out because her feelings are hurt?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Without question.
And I know does that make you feel
Absolutely.
bad? Obviously, she's distraught over that. You guys been together for 23 years.
Yeah, we're together
long time, guys.
Long
That's a
time.
long
Can't be mad
time.
at her for feeling that way.
That's why I don't go in on her. Mm-hmm. I get it. I heard it. I hurt her. I broke up the family dynamic and everything. But even when I remember when I called.
I mean, when a relationship ends, everyone's hurt, and people deal with that hurt differently. In her case, she dealt with that hurt by publicly trying to shame him in the court of public opinion. He basically goes on tour and kept his mouth shut. Who knows what he was doing to deal with the hurt? But it shouldn't be excused. Too many times women get a pass for publicly shaming or trying to tarnish the image of their ex-husband just because they're mad at him. Stuff didn't go their way.
And we talked for like 5 hours, and I thought we were going to keep it quiet. Mm-hmm. We would just be like, and even she said we were a good example of a married couple that show how people can get divorced with dignity and everything. Mm-hmm.
So she hit him with the bait and switch, said, hey, let's keep it quiet. And then when she saw something she didn't like, obviously, him probably being out with the new woman or a woman, she publicly tries to blast him for cheating, even though they were separated. Shameful.
I don't know what happened. TMZ got a hold of it, and I don't know. But I filed in Ohio. We had two residences. We had one in Ohio, one in California. I filed for divorce in Ohio. She filed in California. So when I saw the TMZ, my lawyer called and was like, we think a process server is on the way.
This is important.
Because that's the big deal. Hey, getting served. That's the whole story itself, me on the run.
You was running from the process server?
Oh, my God.
But that means you didn't want to get divorced then?
Huh?
That means you didn't want to?
No. I didn't want the divorce in California.
No, you don't want that California
filed in
I
divorce.
filed in Ohio. Mm-hmm. She filed in California.
Could you get what, half? They take half in California or something like that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
they do.
It's in Ohio. I don't know. I don't want to know. But, the process server, when my lawyer called and was like, dude, because I remember I was in Naples, Florida. It was a Friday night. I had two shows. I get off stage and I'm like, shit. Because I'm getting text messages and everybody send me the links to BET and People and all that. I'm like this. How'd this happen? My lawyer said, you got a show? I said, yeah. She goes, you got to cancel it. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, where are you going to get served? I said, what's that? I didn't know what a process server was. She goes, no, you don't understand. She goes, the process server serves you, chances are the divorce could go down in California. If that happens, that's what she said. California's a 50-50 state, which means she can get half of everything for the rest of your life. I said, say less, this show's over.
That's crazy. You had
Screw
to
those 300
cancel
people
both
that night
shows.
in Naples, Florida. I was on the run. If you look at my social media, I don't make a post for like 3 months.
Now, what he said is very important, and they joke about it, but it's true. So what happens is he wants to divorce in Ohio because the divorce laws in Ohio are more favorable or better for him in his outcome than they are in California, pending they go to trial. So let's take a look at the divorce laws, or just one aspect, which is spousal support. See, California has this thing called long-term spousal support. And what that means is for marriages less than 10 years, support would generally last half the length of the marriage. For marriages more than 10 years old, which they've been married for 17, there is no assumption to what's reasonable, which means these long-term marriages, support may last for as long as the other spouse needs the support or the other spouse can pay. This is also called lifetime spousal support in California. You don't want this. Also, California is a community state, so everything that he has and she has would just be split 50-50. So, his bank account with millions in it, half will go to her, half will go to him. But Ohio is a little different. Let's check it out. So, in Ohio, courts won't even consider awarding spousal support unless the marriage has lasted at least 5 years. And they would not consider awarding lifetime support until 20, 25, or even 30 years of marriage. That's very important. And lifetime support will not be awarded. Then the general rule of thumb for spousal support to be awarded is for 1/3 of the length of the marriage. So, for example, if a couple have been married for 15 years, the court may order spousal support to be paid for a term of 5 years. So he's probably looking at 5 to 6 years spousal support. Also, Ohio believes in equitable division. So they're going to split the assets based on kind of, what each person put in. Is equitable, not a 50-50 state like California, where they just take, basically, they put everything in a pot and say, here's your half, here's her half. And it's definitely not fair to the husband, because if he put, 70% into the assets and she put in 30%, he's losing 20% of the assets just off the top, on top of the spousal support. But what I suspect in Gary Owen's case is that he will settle with her on a lump sum of spousal support.
How this process affected just you mentally?
Oh my goodness. Excellent question.
I know you laughing and joking, but it can't
Excellent question.
I tell you what, though, a lot of people reached out, like a lot of dudes that have been through messy divorces in our business. I'm not gonna name names, but I'll keep our conversations private. But a lot of people. But mentally, it gets to you sometimes. Like you've been in a car and you just be like,
For sure,
the
man.
wrong song comes on.
I've been there.
So yeah, it
I've been
gets
there.
taxing at time because you're alone, and like I was there the whole time my kids grew up. So it's like to be now to have no like contact with them. It's like,
Would you ever?
Now, that was a very honest answer. But yeah, it is mentally taxing on the man. Like for me, the hardest part was mentally coming to grips that I'm about to lose a significant amount of money. But the hardest part for me was knowing the fact that I'm not going to be able to see our kid grow up every day. It hurts. And when you've been with someone for a certain amount of time, in his case, 17 years, married 23 years together, you build a bond. You have songs, you have movies, you have inside jokes that was built up over the time of that marriage that ultimately can come out at any time, at any moment, and trigger an emotional response for you. But shout out to the comedians who probably reached out to him, like, Chris Rock, who went through a very public, messy, expensive divorce, and as well as Ari Spears.
because when I called her and said I wanted the divorce, and I said, I think you're gonna be happier. I'm gonna be happier. I said, I want you, because she would say like, I need this from you, this from you, this from you. I said, and I couldn't give it to her anymore. I just couldn't.
This is
I was
deep.
like, I want you to be happy. I want you to find somebody else, and there's no malicious intent on my part. I thought that's the route we was going.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're going through a divorce, fellas know, you want your ex-wife, or even if you're going through a bad breakup with, maybe your kid's mom, or even an ex-girlfriend, you want her to find someone new as soon as possible so she can focus her energy all on them. That's what we want. That's what we really want. We want nothing more for you to move on, because we probably already done moved on.
But you get, I also knew that, she was, I think it's like, as a woman, you're like, what didn't I do right? And he had to be doing something else. You know what I mean? But we never asked what the woman do.
Never.
Isn't it crazy to have
We
been
asking
so
now.
in love and never anticipate that things would end this way?
Oh, that question right there, so good that it's coming from Angela Lee, and so important, man. So many fellas, even in my divorce journey, I've come off so many men who say, "Oh, I never thought we would, get divorced." And, even if we did get divorced, I never thought she would do me like, I never thought she would want half. I never thought she would want spousal support. Because, she not that type of girl. Every guy thinks they got this 1 in a million person. And then the divorce happens and turns out she may not be as rare as you like. And one thing I've learned through my divorce is living with someone reveals their ultimate character. But you will never know your wife's ultimate intentions for you until you go through a divorce, because divorce reveals ultimate intentions 100% of the time.
Just think about like the earlier days, and you think things are forever and we just love each other. And then you never expect people to just be at war like this.
Yeah, this is a very one-sided war. I'm not really at war. I just want to I want to have a relationship with my kids.
Yeah, war.
Because I had a show in Sacramento about a month ago.
Look, the war that goes on, right? In all divorces that are contentious, if you can get an amicable one where y'all can agree on everything, that's great. But chances are the war is going to be over money. Because I remember when she was asking for $44,000 a month, he didn't agree to it. And I'm sure he had to, quote unquote, go to war to maybe get something more manageable or more fair as for spousal support payments. Angela Yee is right, man. You never see this coming. I never saw it coming. I kid you not. I thought I would be on my second kid in second house, but now I am middle of divorce. So let's keep it going. The last thing I want to touch on is betrayal.
Like, what is it?
My dudes, man. Like,
your
my
people around you.
openers.
Okay.
What happened with your opening comedians?
Yo,
They were on the road for years.
they dirty, man. That's dirty. You don't tell, like, no matter what happens, you don't ever go to some dude's family and talk smack about, especially a dude put money in your pocket.
Right.
So to go to my kids and everything and talk shit about me, I'm like, and telling them stuff like, why would you tell them that? You know what I mean? So I just.
And how old you?
What he talked about, that betrayal, is very real. Like, you never see it coming. You never do. And oftentimes it's going to come in the form of friends and family picking sides. I know they said they was going to be neutral. I know they said they was going to do this, they was going to do that. But ultimately, they pick sides. And it's unfortunate because, I've lost friends, I've lost family in my divorce, and he lost his openers, people who he put money in their pockets, took them out on tour, and they told his kids probably intimate details regarding him, tour, whatever was going on. Because if you watch the interview, he doesn't have a relationship with his kids anymore as a result of this. They're old enough to pick sides. And sure, he's a comedian, he's probably not there that much, but they chose the mom side. And a piece of me gets it, but a piece of me feels sorry as the father in me, because I have a kid, and if she was to grow up and not want to talk to me as a result of divorcing her mom, that would be crushing. So if you're a divorced guy, I strongly recommend you watch the full video. And if you need to talk, you can always reach out to me. I know what it's like to go through it, but I strongly encourage y'all to watch the video. If you're still here, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button. And if there's a topic or video you want me to discuss, send me an email at henryresilient@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Peace.